Here we go.
Farm Companion.
The last one of April, as we just said.
You sound a little nasally too.
No, I'm just spent. Like
Just tired.
travel,
That'll do it.
travel, run around, track meet yesterday. Yeah.
How'd that go?
It's good. Yeah.
Who's that, Carter? Or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
What events does he do?
The mile and the 800.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's long distance stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right
Yeah,
on.
so he got third in both.
Cool.
So it's good for a 7th grader.
Cool. I remember. Do you remember running a mile? Did you run
Yeah.
like throughout school the whole time?
Into college.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, I didn't. I didn't start running until later. I can remember. I think it was even just the 400. Like in gym class, they're like, "Hey, here's the standard. We're gonna run the lap one time." And I remember like doing it barefoot for some reason, and also and I didn't run at all
Because you were half Kenyan.
Well, I didn't run at the time, so I was like, it could have killed me.
Yeah,
it was tough.
Did you have the presidential fitness test when you were in school?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Yeah.
Sad that they get rid of that stuff now.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, kids can't even like do a sit-up, let alone anything else.
Well, I don't know. It was just like the PSAs, basically.
Yeah.
Like it was like a benchmark.
Yeah.
But I think most kids could.
I think
we had fat kids in school. Like, I mean, there's
yeah, not like today.
I'm probably not.
I think the arch enemy for me was you remember the box stretch where you had to like put your legs against the box, and you had to like reach out and like try to stretch the furthest number.
Yeah, this with your legs out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do remember that.
I remember guys just like blowing their hamstrings out, like lunging on that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I was nice at the broad jump, which
standing broad jump.
I don't know to this day. Did they exclude that from track events? Did they at some point say we just don't do that anymore?
Well, they do it in the because tonight's the NFL draft. They do that in the NFL Combine. That's like one of the big metrics is the standing broad jump.
Yeah, that was my one event.
But now it's long jump and triple jump only in track practices.
Yeah, which I wasn't as good at either of those.
Yeah. The triple jump takes some coordination.
Yeah, that's tough.
I was watching kids yesterday do it, and they basically would just trip over their own feet and just...
It's tough.
Down.
It's tough. You got to get that left, right down, or left, right, left. Yeah, so there's too much going on.
Yeah. They're like, no, you traveled.
You're basically running and jumping at the same time.
But yeah. No, it's been freaking hot, dude. Even yesterday, like we were sitting in the bleachers.
Check me out,
yeah, dude. Me too.
Little sun.
Yeah. And that's what I was walking around this morning with no shirt. And she's like, "How do you have a farmer's tan?" I'm like, "Been outside."
I'm pretty sure I got mine in about a half an hour span.
Oh yeah.
When I was standing outside yesterday, talking to a contractor.
I
was just like, dude, we've been standing here. I'm feeling kind of crisp.
When we were outside in Kentucky I think it was either the day before Easter or Easter. We were on the kayak fishing, and like at one point I looked down and like my knees are like bright red, and I pull up my shorts. I was like, "Ooh, that's gonna sting."
Oh, crawfish burn there.
Yeah, she was steamy. So, anyways, yeah, that's the last one of April. Hard to believe, man. We're gonna be into May.
Cranking.
Starting to see some velvet popping, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, just in it. Actually, I'm leaving Monday. So tomorrow, if you're listening to this, tomorrow I'm going to Ohio and Kentucky, and I'm spraying. I'm nuking for beans and corn. They're drilling my beans like in 10 days.
Okay.
So I've got to go down and get that nuked, and then I'm going to spray for beans and corn, and I'll try to get all those in. I guess I'm going to just end up planting everything early, like I say early, but like mid-May is what my goal is going to be. To get it in the ground.
You said you're planting corn too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got like 90-day corn. So or 89. So I'll end up putting that in at the same time. So, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right. I'll probably shoot for. It's funny. Yeah. It's been sounding like it's out in the future now, and all of a sudden it's like
it's here.
Mid-May is coming right up. That's 2
weeks,
2-3 weeks, I guess. But
yeah, depending on weather, obviously. We've been dry actually. It's kind of deceiving.
We're supposed to get some this weekend, I think.
Yeah, like I was in Kentucky, and the lake was 23 feet up above where it's supposed to be right now because of they got like just hammered a couple weeks ago. But since then, it's been like bone dry. Like I was walking through my food plots and stuff, and I mean they're dry again.
Yeah, I've been having a tough time getting the weather to cooperate the past couple weeks. Just it's been windy when I want to spray. It's been
Yep.
We had this big tree planting project, and I'm like, Dad picked those up this past weekend from Musser's Forestry, I think, is where we got those from. It's in Indiana County, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Indiana, PA.
Yeah, and they did a really nice job. Freaking was a lot of trees. I don't know if it was like 3,000 or 5,000.
A lot.
It was a few thousand. And in my mind, I'm like, just jump on the tree planter, but it was a new tree planter.
Mm-hmm.
And
so did you have to like set it up or calibrate? You did. Okay.
It was assembled.
I don't know how those things work.
Yeah, well, you know what it is, right?
Oh yeah.
I showed you a picture.
Yep.
So
yeah, I've used one. I just don't know how to like set it up or do anything.
Mm-hmm.
I've just jumped on them and like, boop.
Yeah. Well, the only adjustment is, it's the depth, which is set by your 3-point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the tire depth is an adjustment. It's an independent.
Oh,
like
okay.
this, So I mean, that just dictates how far from the deepest is digging to. It's your tire pressure, really.
Yep.
But then you also have your
actual
the hydraulic extension, and so we've never used it before. We've used other tree planters. Used to borrow Jed's, but Dad picked this one up. So there was a little bit of, and it was like raining on and off, and the weather. That morning, the day before even is when it started. Dad's like, I'm getting these trees, and we really should get them in as soon as possible. So I'm like, okay, all right, let me look at my schedule here, and then we're back and forth. I'm like, you really should spray.
Sure.
Before, and he's like, well, Mom doesn't want to look at dead fields and stuff. I'm like, we're planting trees or not? Like,
yeah.
And so they're like, okay, well, I think we're gonna spray. And I was like, okay, well, I'll get up at like 4:30 then and come and spray first while you're driving to go get the trees. And I'm watching the weather. I'm like, there's a big spike midday of rain. So we went for it. I mean,
did you spray? Did you just nuke the whole field?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I didn't know if you were like in rows or.
No, I just sprayed the whole thing, and actually, there's a couple fields. So there's 3 right by the house, and then a small 1/4 to 1/8 acre pocket over by the easy gate that I wanted to get planted.
Yep.
I think in total it's about 6 acres.
Okay.
With like 7-foot spacings.
Yep, 7x7s.
Yeah. So actually, I can do the math. We had 1,700 Norway spruces.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had 1,100 white pines.
Mm-hmm. So it's 2,800.
And 500 bur oak and 500 black walnut.
So 3,800 trees.
There you go.
Interesting. Was there a strategy to what went where?
No. I mean, it was all intermixed.
You know what I mean? Like,
just knowing that there's more spruce than everything else. So it was like every third tree I would try to have a spruce.
I guess I wondered, like, were you putting the bur oak and walnuts in the same places you were putting the evergreens?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay.
All intermixed.
So like just creating a forest.
So on my planter, I had a big, because the spruces were huge. They were like,
I saw that.
Trees themselves were like,
I saw you like
2 foot, 2-3 foot.
They look great.
They were awesome. Then the white pines I had tucked kind of underneath of them here, and they come in bundles.
Yeah.
I can only imagine the work to assemble that, to put them in. They came on 2 pallets.
Damn.
Totally wrapped in cardboard box, like stacked. And so it was kind of a crapshoot getting them unpackaged, because it was in an enclosed horse trailer, and it was like tight quarters, and one box was all spruce.
Yep. And the other one was a mixed bag.
And then the other, it was a mixed bag. So it took us a while to get a flow for what needed to go where. And then on this side, I had both. I had my white pines, and those guys were, some of those bur oaks where the trees were this tall.
Yeah.
And
versus those spruces that were like little Christmas trees.
Yeah.
Huh. I saw there was a lot of people commenting on the last one we did, talking about willows and red osier dogwoods going in.
Saw that.
And also some good examples of like what those look like. I do know that a lot of those favor more wet areas, and I know that some of those fields you planted are up, like not ridges but up higher.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if the willows and the red osiers would succeed as well as if they were in like wet bottom type stuff.
Yeah.
But if you start to think about, and we don't really see it in our area, but as you get to like those Wisconsin, Michigans, Minnesotas, like those willow and dogwood type, like just like swamp type thickets, definitely hold big deer. Oh, yeah. But I do think that that's a habitat specific look. I don't know that for sure, but
where we planted these, for the most part was, and I don't know how much it's going to end up benefiting deer habitat. I mean, it's a piece of the puzzle for sure. But Mom and Dad were like, well, it's close to the house. It's kind of an aesthetic thing. But there's enough there, and there's deer that use this. There's a big ravine that runs behind their house.
Yep.
And it's just, I wouldn't call it early succession. It's just, it's just a ditch.
Yeah, the one right behind the house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that we overlooked. Yeah.
Yeah, and over the years,
that would be and you've seen that one kind of get thicker and thicker. It's
gotten thick, and
it's so close to the house and the activity.
There are willows down there, and there's deer use it all the time.
I know. I've watched them go through there
constantly, and so same concept. You know what I mean? It's like I think we're just kind of wrapping it in well,
you have to build. You have to build cover. Like you have an open field, and so like if you don't, I think we've talked about before. It's like a pond or a lake bottom. You build a pond, and there's no structure in it. The amount of fish that you can hold in a healthy scenario is not good. So you add structure to the pond. Mm-hmm. Same thing with this. You basically have open pasture and cool season grasses. If you don't add structure to that, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's, I mean, I think that, even if 33% of those trees survive that you plant, I mean, you've created structure in an area that didn't have any. Can't get any worse.
Right.
So
yeah, 100%.
I mean,
well, and portions of that have been literally nothing,
So do you?
Hay, I think they took hay off of most of them.
So you've got 7-foot spacings. Do you potentially do switch in between them at some because you sprayed it, like it's going to be dead? Could you drop a row of switch right through in between them? You could.
But you'd have to broadcast it probably.
Why couldn't you drill it?
You'd have a really tough time. When I say 7 foot, I mean it's not a science.
Not a science.
They're scattered across.
Gotcha.
So basically, the rows are 7 foot apart.
Gotcha.
And then I dropped them.
You'd need like a 5-foot drill to.
And even then,
yeah,
you'd have a hard time knowing if you're between them.
It'd be cool though.
It would be cool. I mean, if you were going to do that, I think you would have to do it beforehand, and I'd want to have multiple springs, like we're going to do in Illinois.
Yeah.
You'd want to spray mid-April.
Yes.
And then mid-March.
Yep.
And then drill your seed, and then immediately go in but at that point, I think you're getting late for the trees. So, like in Illinois, we're going to do it the following year. We're going to plant trees into first year switch.
Is there a point there where those trees
year old switch? I guess.
I guess maybe not the evergreens. I was just trying to think. Is there a point there where like some of those trees are dormant to where you could spray without? Because gly's a on contact piece.
I don't know.
Probably not. Not with the spruce and the white pines. With the hardwoods, maybe.
Well, and you know what? I've got adjacent sections that I think we'll do some switch in. So rather than intertwining them, I've got enough.
You could frost seed it. You could backpack spray some of those rows and frost seed it if you wanted to at some point.
Sure. Yeah, you could. As some of those areas are opening up, like it's not going to get hay taken off of it anymore. So I've got some cool areas now that I can put food and also some switch pockets into and stuff, I think. So
speaking of switch, what the hell, dude? I was like driving on my Kentucky farm, and I'm like, as I'm driving, we were in the truck, and Harlan's through the sunroof, like looking for sheds. And I'm like looking, and I'm like, that grass looks like it's in rows. And I was like, what the fuck? And finally I pull around and I look and I get out and I'm like, that's switch.
Was there any old stem too that you're like, oh yeah?
So where that was is in line roughly with some of the deer fence from Sturgis that I planted. So like you see the old deer fence there, but I didn't really see any like significant stems from the switch. I guess two things. Number one, like wholly early. Like at least I feel like it is.
Yeah. When I responded to you, I was near one and I was like, I don't really see any in here, but I drove past another one.
And you saw some?
Yeah, I had some. Not quite as long as yours, but getting there.
Yeah, and which makes sense. I mean, that's Kentucky, so it's been warmer and more southern. But yeah, I mean, there's several rows of it coming up. Like, and I dropped that Tar River and basically did 1 or 2 passes, of a 7-foot row. So it's there. So I guess now being post-emergent, like I'm going to have to use quinchloric.
Yeah.
To
manage
do,
for it, yeah.
Because, I mean, if I would confidently, I guess, now, seeing how much it's come out in just April. Like, that could be 4 or 5 foot tall this year.
Yeah. Let's see why not. Yeah. No, that's cool.
Yeah. And maybe that was a perfect case of like year one, I didn't see it at all. And then this being year two, like it established its root system and it's really going to take off. I don't know.
Well, that's interesting. Like, you didn't plant it last year? You planted it the year before?
2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think you'd see something.
Last year I didn't plant any, maybe very little. Maybe I mixed a little bit in with some stuff, but I would say that I didn't really plant any switch last year. I planted it 2 years ago.
You know what I've seen recently here, and I just like, I'm sure there's some benefit to wildlife, but I also just like how it looks. I feel like it's a good farming practice is when we put all that rye down on our fall plots later. It's like right now they look they look banging. They look really good.
The turkeys love that stuff too.
Do they?
Yeah. And the deer.
Watch this video. This is my mom sent me this. This is the Easy Gate. So this is a Nebraska plot.
Yeah.
But with this top dress rye, and then they'll pan to where we did cedars. Sorry for everybody that's listening. Jeremy's watching a video here. So see all that rye in there? And then that little knob that's purely spruces. Yep. I
like how mom just riding up on the top.
Yeah. So she actually did a lot of it. I probably planted 1,000 to 1,500 of the trees in day one, and I also sprayed everything, all 6 acres.
And then she took over.
And then that was an all day thing.
Yeah.
And then I left, and then the next day they took it over.
Dad's just doing his thing on the tractor.
Yeah. Dude, half a mile an hour.
I saw the video on the Instagram feed.
It's slow going.
It is interesting, though. I mean, when you start to look at that, it's I mean, that rye stuff is anything that comes up. I mean, the clover's really starting to pop now, too. So it's just a matter of whether you're going to mow and or spray your rye to terminate it here in the next couple weeks. Then that'll really take off. If you've got clover in those same plots, that'll really explode that clover on that side.
Yeah, what's the move there? Did you say spray or mow?
Yeah, so I'm going to spray. So I've got rye in. So a lot of my clover plots failed last year because of the drought or were failing. So I went in and did rye in the fall. So most of my clover plots or alfalfa plots also have rye in them. So I'm going to go in there and spray those with clethodim. Or if I have chicory in any of those, I'll use IMOX. But and also because most of those are in Ohio and my brush hog is in Kentucky. So I just don't want to move it. So I'll just spray them. And I'll also put Deer Grow 31818 in the same tank while I'm spraying.
Yeah.
So that way my clover's getting fertilized, my grasses are getting nuked, and then those plots should take off.
Yeah. I guess you could go either way, right?
Either way. If you mow it, though, it's too early to terminate rye, in my opinion.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
You've got to wait.
Well, you saw how tall that was.
Yep. You've got to wait probably another 4 to 6 weeks at least, I would say. So I just want to get it out of there and have less competition for my clover over the next 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah. Mine's all got clover in it, too. That's a nice rotation.
It is.
I mean, it's a little bit more expensive, but it keeps something in there all the time as you go. Brassicas in the fall, rye, top dress in September, and then frost seed clover. And then you have the option that year to either leave it in first year clover or to till it back under.
Yeah, and I mean, especially in that March and April time frame, that clover and that rye provides something right away to those deer. I mean, it's the first to green up, before the woods are even, which now, I mean, it's crazy how fast the woods seem to explode and green up.
Oh yeah, it's taking off.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's a good time frame to look at that. If you've got rye or oats or anything grass oriented in your clover plots, if you don't think you're going to mow it or you're not going to mow it, then I would spray cleth and knock it out, kill it out of there, and then let your clover or whatever else you have in there thrive.
Yeah, I did spray the rest of so that 7-acre switch patches. I got that second spraying done a few days ago, I think. So I hit it with Simazine first.
But what'd you spray it with? Gly?
Gly and 2,4-D.
And you didn't see anything popping yet?
Oh yeah, no, it was.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, I mean that Simazine, there's some cool season grasses that
No. I mean like switch popping.
There's no switch in it.
Oh.
I won't plant the switch until.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Yep. I'll spray it again with Glide and 2,4-D mid-May, and then in the next week or so, I'll drill
I mean,
it.
I wish I would have known that switch was going to do what it's going to do, because I would have glide those areas when it was just because there is some cool season in there.
I think that's the move. I think if you're ahead of the warm season grass germination, Glide's great.
Yep.
And if not, you just hit it with quinclorac.
Quinclorac.
So frankly, I'm gonna have to call our co-op in Illinois and see if they got to that. And if not, I might just hit it all with quinclorac.
Yeah, because it's popping at this point.
Yeah,
that's cool, man. It's I think it's definitely. I mean, we're in green up phase, which is really cool to see just how things are going. Harlan shot Jake on.
I saw that.
When was that? Friday?
That's Kentucky?
Yeah, Friday morning. So Saturday morning. We got there on Friday. So Saturday morning we went over to the farm. I just like laugh of, again, both of my places are just unreal turkey farms. And I just have I just have to like shake my head. And it's because of all the deer work that's being done on them that make them that. But
lack of turkey pressure.
Lack of turkey pressure. So yeah, we get there. And really windy, actually, like super windy. And we walk like 100 yards from the truck, and I hoot owl, bird gobbles in the tree. And I was like, all right. I was like, why don't we, it's a known crossing. I was like, let's just set up here. I'll get decoys out. It's funny. Somebody wrote me and they're like, hey, I saw your decoys in the back. Like, what's your strategy? I'm like, they're out. Like, I don't, there is no strategy.
Found some decoys.
I put them out. They are sitting out. And I
assume they meant for Jake versus hen.
And I guess I had the hen in front of the Jake or in front of the decoy or whatever. I was like, I don't know, they're out. And so that bird's going off on the roost. I can hear some hens with them. And then Harlan's like, hey, in the field. And we look up and there's like a big bean field in front of us that goes up box line. And here comes this big gobbler, just quiet, like coming down. It clearly knew like he had got his ass beat probably by this other bird. And, but at least 2-year-old bird, whatever, a tom comes down in, and I was like, we're going to kill this thing. And he pops up and looks at the decoys and runs like straight up the hill away from us. Yeah. I was like, what the hell? And I had a full strut tom out. And so I think he thought that was that bird and was like, shit, I'm going to get my ass beat again. And so it was like, okay, this bird's still gobbling. He's on the ground now at this point. I heard him pitch down, and I can hear him gobbling on the ground. It's probably like 5 minutes later. That bird ends up circling the whole way around us, and he's like 50 yards out in the field above us gobbling now, the bird we first saw. He finally starts committing to come down, and I was like, all right, I was like, hey, I think we're going to get a shot at this. So we like start to turn, and we're waiting for him to come through. Next thing you know, I could hear like in the leaves coming up over the hill. And I was like, hey, there's a bird coming up this way. And I look and I could see it's just a big gobbler coming up over this hill, like full fan, just straight up over. And I was like, we can't move. Like he's too close. And I said, but as soon as he gets behind this pine tree, I'm going to swing you over. So he gets behind the pine tree. We swing over. He's behind the pine tree strutting. Next thing you know, here he comes. Like I'm talking full steam run. Right across in front of us. I thought he was going after the decoy. He was going after that other bird in the field. He ran straight to that, and they flew up in the air and were like, it's like a cockfight.
Oh, wow.
That was pretty intense, actually.
El Diablo.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. And so I'm like, I don't understand how he just completely ignored the decoys. Just straight past them to that bird. And I'm like, what the hell?
That's probably who that other bird thought your decoys was.
Yeah. And I was like, what is going on? And then I hear more birds coming up, and I look, and I could see 3 or 4 coming up. And we had seen like 4 or 5 jakes together the day before. And so these 2 jakes come out, and then, they're coming right to the decoy. And he's like, I can kill the first one. I was like, kill him. Down.
Nice.
So, yeah, we were all jacked up about it.
Did the jakes commit to the decoys?
They were going towards the decoys. Yeah, just stupidly like, hey, what are these guys doing?
Yeah, man, this decoy thing is so hit or miss. I've had, and I wish I could tell if it was because it just doesn't look like a real bird to them, or it's because of what bird they think it is.
I mean, it sounds stupid because obviously like I'm not a turkey. Those other two gobblers knew each other and had interactions previously. And they knew to keep, that one knew to keep his distance. When he started to come in and encroach, this one saw him and was like, no, I don't think so. We ended up going back. Well, the next morning, Easter, we're like getting eggs around the house and there's a turkey gobbling like right behind the cabin. And Harlan's like, we can go kill him. I was like, no, dude, not today. We got to keep mom happy.
Well, do you think that first one that looked at the decoys and boogered, do you think it was because it was another male, or do you think he just didn't like the decoys?
No, I think he thought it was the other bird. I think he thought it was the bird that was the more dominant bird.
Which, if that's the case, I mean, because I've had that happen quite a few times too, it begs the question, why not just use a hen? Like just a hen.
Yeah. No, I think absolutely would be. I mean, that's how I grew up. I never used a.
Really?
I mean, growing up, my dad's like, if we use a gobbler fan, we're gonna get shot. Like that was the thought process. Pennsylvania turkey hunting is like, if you had a gobbler decoy out, somebody was shooting it.
Yeah.
And it was because we were on high pressured public land. Like you weren't, so you only used a hen decoy, you know? And I remember when guys would have those like gobbler tubes and stuff, and somebody would do that. Yeah. You don't do that you don't do that. Maybe on your own private.
Well, a lot of guys.
I mean,
I've shot birds over jakes too, and we've had really good success with like Lauer, who'll be here in a week or two, has got a Jake the Jerk, he calls him. It's a stuffed Jake.
Yeah, stuffed Jake.
And I've never seen a bird not come to it.
Yeah, I mean, any Tom is going to challenge that bird, but I think when you go full fan,
well, I don't know, man. I think there's some Jakes that kick. Tom's butts. You know.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what Lauer told me. So
interesting.
He knows more
I don't know.
him.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm of the opinion of like,
just like to assimilate them to deer. I do think there's birds that are just not fighter. You know, or
they're lovers, not fighters.
That or they just they recently got run off or whatever.
Well, the bird that we saw first was a classic case of like he never gobbled until he got way up behind us. The whole way coming in, never said a word. Went in full strut multiple times. Never. That bird was sounding off like crazy. He never gobbled
which
once.
I think endorses your theory that it was like he was more worried about who it was.
He was, for sure.
If he's like, let me go check it out first.
And then he finally started to come down to like commit to it, and that's when. And we did end up seeing. There were two hens out in the one field, and we saw two hens in another field. So I mean, there were just freaking turkeys everywhere. We went back out Monday because he can shoot two birds, and it was really quiet, like oddly quiet. I think because it was so clear, it got lighter like 5 minutes earlier. And so we had one bird going off. We were making a move on it. I was going to set up on him, and we end up running into a gobbler already on the ground. It wasn't the bird that I heard, but he was already on the ground, and that put us into a mess there. We ended up bouncing around a couple more spots. Had another one gobbling. We went down in, and he was coming up the hill, and ended up at some point started hitting, getting into like the alarm putt scenario where he saw us or knew something was up, and. So didn't work out on Monday, but but we were in them. I mean, pretty frequently. It was fun. And, I guess Saturday I made, turkey nuggets and stuff. So
pretty good.
Highlight. Yeah.
What do you like? Cut them up and beer batter them type of thing?
No. So I cut mine up, and then I brine them in pickle juice, like Chick-fil-A. And then I do basically I do two. I do like an original and a Cajun short. It's called shore lunch. It's like for fish. Yeah. And then just dust them in that, put them in the fryer. Tastes just like a Chick-fil-A nugget.
Tastes like chicken.
It's freaking good.
Nice.
Yeah, really good. Yeah. So it was fun. I mean, we killed some birds, caught some fish, found a couple morels when we were out. The one thing I told you is like, man, the ticks are bad already.
Yeah.
Like I picked 4 out of me in like 5 days or something. Huh. Yesterday morning, I pulled 2 out of me. Like I have no idea where, like how I missed them or where they came from.
Dude, there was a distinct point in time where, because I used to get them a lot, and then somewhere along the way, I got my blood work done, and
had limes.
Yeah, had Lyme and have had it for a long time. Apparently, they put me on deoxycycline at the time, which is like the antibiotic for that. It sucked. I can't say for sure if I finished it because I remember
tears up your stomach,
tearing up my stomach. My dog's on it right now actually because he's got some traces of whatever.
Tears up your stomach.
He don't like it either. I can see him.
Yeah,
quivering and puking and stuff.
I mean, it rips you up.
But at some point, I can't tell you the last time I had a tick in me. And I don't know if that's because I'm just more aware and I'm constantly like feeling for it, but I'll see them all over me. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? On the outside of my camo and stuff like that, but
I'm pretty aware
they just don't get
of
in me anymore.
You know, who knows? Just got into them and like didn't pay attention to it and woke up the next morning and they had dug themselves in.
Yeah.
Essentially.
That's what happens. You got to check out.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I guess if anything, the limes thing is a big deal, but I've been through that too. It's more of the alpha gel or whatever, the like red meat allergy. Like that doesn't sound good at all. Like you don't want that. So that one of the ones I pulled out of me was a Lone Star tick, which is what that carries. So I should have saved it because you can send them off to, I don't know if it's not the Department of Ag, but you can send it off to the state and they'll run a test on it to see if there's any traces of the disease in the tick when you pull them out of you. I just flushed them down the shower drain. So
yeah.
Oh well. So, but anyways, as a warning to everyone out there, turkey hunting or food plotting and stuff, like they are in full force already this year. So yeah, that and watch your kids, watch your dogs on that stuff. Hide your kids, hide your dogs.
Because they biting everybody up in here.
So, anyways, we appreciate everyone listening to Farm Companion this week, and we will catch you all next Sunday.
Farm Companion.
Take me